Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So you know how it is, another haul of some things I've already read and ones that are new adds to my TBR list. But the list keeps on exponentially growing. I'm also still working on my reorganization video, so in the meantime, let's talk about some fun pickups. Let's get started. So first volume and last one to complete my collection for this series is Haru Ride Volume 10. I got this off Amazon because it was out of stock since forever, but it's been readily available now for some time, so there shouldn't be any problems picking it up. I'm currently rereading Volume 3 since it's been a while since I've read Volumes 1 and 2, but this centers around Futaba, who reunites with her first love, or the first person that she loved back then, Ko, when they get into high school. She does see that he's a little bit different from how he used to be, so I'm kind of curious to see how their relationship develops. And of course, with a romance, throw in a third love interest and you get your typical love triangle. So kind of interested to see and wrap up this story since I have all of it now. Next series is Frieren Beyond Journey's End, Volumes 1 to 5, with art by Tsukasa Abe and story by Kanehito Yamada, published by Viz Media. This has been recommended to me several times and is an award-winning series, which is pretty exciting. From what I've heard, this one hits right in the feels. I do enjoy very introspective stories that delve into the varying perspectives on life and a life lived. So this centers around Frieren, who returns with her adventurers after their victory over the Demon King. But as an elf, she outlives those around her and journeys on to fulfill their last wishes and reminisces on the experiences that have long since passed. So I don't know what it is about the concept of the passage of time that tends to get me emotional. Fleeting moments that come and go, and the only thing you can take away from it are memories and lessons learned. Where for someone like Frieren, time is abundant, so what does she do from there? I haven't started reading this yet, but it makes me think of 3 Days of Happiness, which I've read the manga for, but still in the middle of reading the light novel. They're different in many ways, and I'm sure I'll find out how different Frieren and unique that story is, but I'm getting similar vibes, like what is the value of life. So I'm pretty keen to also get into this story. Next is A Galaxy Next Door, Volume 2. I haven't read this one yet, but I'll be honest, while Volume 1 was cute in various ways, that unique thing about Shiuri Koshiki, the female lead, seemed to fall a bit flat for me. So I won't give spoilers or anything, but you can take the title of the manga at face value and kind of guess what makes Shiuri special. But it's also a romance at the end of the day between her and Ichiro, a passionate mangaka trying to support the siblings. I do have the next 2 volumes pre-ordered, but I'm not planning to pick up more than that since I want to see if this series will head in a direction that I'll continue to enjoy. This next one is a crossover of 2 things that I love, manga and Genshin Impact. I got the first and second release of the Genshin comic anthology from Kinokuniya. I had no idea these existed, but I'm so happy to have come across them and bought them. The various stories and art panels are done by a bunch of different artists, which is so cool. I do wish these cover sleeves were more consistent because the first one is glossy versus this matte finish, and then the spines look different. But anyways, I need to find translations for these pronto because I can only assume what's happening and what all the jokes are about from what I know of the characters, their personalities, and the overall in-game lore. But the art is so nice, and there seems to be a lot of silly eating stories because I see their specialty dishes from the game. So I don't know, maybe this is an anthology of food adventures. Next is Perfect World Volume 12. The last volume of this manga series. I have read this, and overall this is such a sweet story. It wrapped up really nicely, sort of came full circle with a thing they wanted to do in the earlier part of the story. If you read this, then you know what I mean. I felt satisfied at the conclusion, and it didn't leave me wanting more. Like, you know how some stories, they'll leave it open-ended or rushed or throw in a time skip with just one chapter to close it out? Like, Perfect World gave a full story for the couple, so I'm pretty happy with this. Next are some tankobon I also got from Kinokuniya, and it's this short 3-volume series, Sesame Salt and Pudding by Suzuki Yufuko. These covers are so graphically aesthetic. I love the colors on these sleeves, and they have such fun panels on the actual covers. I've read this before, but wanted to get it to have a physical copy since no publisher here has picked it up. It does have a fairly large age gap between the main couple, as it centers around Haruhi Fukunaga, a 22-year-old who drunkenly gets married with Nagato Sunahara, someone who's twice her age. It has a common theme of a countryside girl going to Tokyo, the big city, and finding her passions there, which for Haruhi, it happens to be working as a heavy machine operator. But as their relationship develops, she and Nagato try to find a way for Haruhi to stay in Tokyo, rather than going back to the countryside to help with her family business because, you know, she just wants to live that independent life and live out her dreams. It's such a cute, mature series with a very responsible couple that can really hold their own while respecting each other. I need more series like this because as much as I do enjoy the mind games and lack of communication with some high school romance stories, I can only take so much. I also got 4 light novels that I really hope gets picked up in its entirety in the future, since there's potentially 4 more after this. So the first 2 are Shunkashuutou Daikousha, Haru no Mai, and then the next 2 are Shunkashuutou Daikousha, Natsu no Mai, which both have 2 parts and unofficially translates to 4 Seasons Proxies, Spring Dance, and then the next 2 are the Summer Dance. I got these for a few reasons. One, because the author is Kana Katsuki, who wrote Violet Evergarden, and Violet Evergarden is one of my top stories and animes of all time. And 2, the story's premise seems really interesting. And then 3, because the art by Suo is absolutely stunning. When I first saw the art for the Spring Dance covers, I was totally blown away. My initial thought was, oh my god, who is this character? These character designs are so good. Same with the Summer Dance covers. I just love how both novels create the full image. But from the summaries I could find online, how I understand the story is that it started with the creation of the seasons. So winter, as the first season, created spring due to loneliness. So winter and spring develop a special relationship. But because the earth went from the stark cycle of life to death and back again, winter created summer and autumn to cut that cycle. And how that translates to this world is that there are human representatives with guards that can change their corresponding season. And due to the history of winter and spring, the winter and spring representatives are romantically drawn to each other. But something seems to have happened to the spring representative. Or something did happen. I couldn't quite understand that part, but if I'm ever able to read this, I'm hoping it's full of drama and the romance is well written, because the art and premise already got me hooked. One thing I do know is that there's a manga adaptation, and it's currently being serialized in the Lala magazine, which is so cool. It's just more things to check out. Moving on, next volume is volume 7 of Those Not So Sweet Boys. This is the final one to wrap up the series. I'm still only on volume 4 and I haven't continued reading on yet. I plan on reading this in its entirety because I at least want to read everything that I buy, but I have a feeling I may end up unhauling it. Essentially, it's about Midori, who strikes up an unlikely friendship with these 3 guys, classmates of hers, who she was tasked to help get back on track with school attendance. Each guy brings their own complications to the relationship between the 4 of them, but all of it is kind of just okay to me. I do like Chihiro Goshima, the one whose family is a group of gang members. His character and his siblings are my favorite so far because they're just silly and cute. And yeah, so we'll see how this series goes once I continue reading on. And last set of manga I got are Tokyo Revengers by Ken Wakui, published in these 2-in-1 omnibuses through 7 Seas. The covers are textured and the overall print is nice. I know Barnes & Noble's had an exclusive cover for the first omnibus, which I didn't get, but I'm not too pressed about it since this cover is nice, even though I'm not a huge fan of Takemichi. But this is a pretty popular series, and I wanted to give the manga a chance because I actually tried watching the anime, but I dropped it after, I don't know, maybe 2 episodes. I don't have a lot of time to watch anime these days, but I opted to see what Tokyo Revengers was all about, and I'll be honest, I couldn't stand the animation quality and style. It was just way too distracting for me. But like I said, I wanted to see if I'll like it better in manga format, so here we are with these 2 omnibuses, and I had pre-ordered the 3rd one as well, after which I'll decide if Tokyo Revengers is for me. But that's my entire haul for now. I hope you enjoyed the variety of manga and maybe learned of 1 or 2 that piqued your interest. As always, I'd love it if you like, comment, and subscribe. I reply to every comment, so feel free to share your thoughts down below. I'll see you in my next video. Take care.